Hello, innovators, and welcome to another episode of the Heitland Show, where I connect the dots of innovation and entrepreneurship with my guests. Today's guest is a former professional football player from Brazil and entrepreneur. He's Innovation and Entrepreneurship Manager of Start UB and Associate Professor of the Barcelona University. Of course, we talk football and we look into how he used the football skills to build his startup and teaching on the university. We explore the concept of the Start UB and how they support students to build startups. Please welcome to the show Matheus Provinciali. Hello, Matheus. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, James. Uh, Thank you for inviting me for the show. I'm doing great today.
Yeah,
Happy.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward. It's going to be fun. Because we will speak about football for anyone who's interested in that, but we dive then into entrepreneurship. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get to where you are today?
Okay. Let's try to resume a little bit the story. As as a football player, I started playing football. I think since I was 2 years or less than that. When I started walking, it was my first toy. My father and my mother just put it in front of me, and I have been playing football my entire life. I used to play as professional football player,
Mm,
and I used to be a goalkeeper, by the way, when I
yeah.
started. And but in a moment of my life, I just had to stop playing football as a professional because as a goalkeeper, if you are not taller enough, they just do not consider you that much, even though you could be good as you can and very skillful. But yeah, and then like the requirements to have more dedication for the training sessions and all this stuff just made me reflect. And then I started studying at the university, and then I just quitted my professional career, as I could say it.
Mm,
And my background is I graduated in law and also in geography. After that, I dedicated some time to work as a tax lawyer. And for after that period, uh, I decided because I'm Brazilian, by the way.
yeah.
I born in Brazil, and as a good Brazilian football player, not as the bad ones, I decided to come to Barcelona to do a master's degree in law on that time when I was studying, and then that was around 2008. After that, I moved to Barcelona. I did my master's degree in law, but then I just got a little bit disappointed working as a lawyer. And then I said, I need to change my life. And then I went to do a master's degree at the Faculty of Economics. I did a master's degree in innovation and technology, how to create new companies, where I had the idea to develop my project that was the foundation of the startup,
Mm,
that was the Nine Sports. The Nine Sports was one of the first in social networks exclusive for sports fans. So that was a little bit the my period, no, my trajectory
yeah.
to get here. Uh, and then I launched the company since 2013 until 2018. So I have dedicated more than 5 years to the company, and that allowed me to get into the entrepreneurship ecosystem and the sports and innovation. So that's one of the periods of my career until now.
Yeah. And then you work with the university in Barcelona. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, the University of Barcelona has been always on my life, part of my life, because I came to the city because of the university. I did a 2 master's degree at the university, and with the project, I have been awarded with one of the best projects in 2016. And on that time, there was an opportunity, a call for professors. So I used to be a professor in Brazil when I was working as a lawyer. I used to teach Brazilian tax law, which is very different than what I'm teaching right now. But of course, there is some relationship, no? And then I applied for this position to be an associate professor at the signature to how to create new business. Because of the experience that I had with my company. I used to work previously also as a consultant. So I was aware of which is the process that is necessary to go through when you are creating a company. And then I started working as a professor at the university and teaching. And 2019, there was also an opening position when they were launching the Start UB, the organization of the University of Barcelona that they promote and foster innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. And then I got this position to be the innovation and entrepreneurship manager here at Start UB.
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah, of course. It was the first link to connect us.
Yeah. So I would like to dig deeper into the football part just quickly. So a Brazilian football player grown up in Germany, these are the people who know how to play football. So just for the Germans who are listening, what teams did you play in as a professional player?
I used to play in the oldest Brazilian team that is called Ponte Preta. It's a club based in a city close to São Paulo, the capital of the state. And when I moved I used to play also not only 11, the football, the regular football, but I also used to play indoor football. So when I arrived here in Barcelona, I was still playing on the second division in here in these indoor leagues. But then after a while, I do not have enough time to just dedicate it for the training sessions. And of course, they're not paying that much.
Yeah, that's how it is. No, cool. Moving from football to big jump to entrepreneurship, what did you learn from growing up and playing football, which helped you to be an entrepreneur and teaching entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I still work with sports, so it's my passion, and it was which drove me to become an entrepreneur on that time. But I take many lessons from sports, so I think the main one is the discipline. So you have to have discipline if you want to be an entrepreneur, because your daily routine, if you are not organized, you cannot move forward. So discipline is one of them. Teamwork, it is a very important. And for me, as a goalkeeper, I depend a lot from my teammates. So if they do not perform well, the results is all on me. And then I had to perform a lot better. It depends on the occasion, of course. But yeah, teamwork. Of course, football has allowed me to make a lot of friends and good connections. So networking either, I got very good friends because of football, and that they also helped me building part of my career in somehow in the ecosystem and the collaborations. What would say leadership is another very important thing, because as a goalkeeper, I used to lead all my teammates either, because at the same time that I could motivate them, I could put them down depending on the way I could share the message with them. So you learn how you have to communicate with people, to have motivation. I think this excitement about all the games, and preparation, training every day. It's what makes you better in anything you do in your life. So not just as an entrepreneur, but as a regular person, I think sports has this capacity to create on us, all these I think good assets that makes us realize that we can be a better person, we can improve, and there is no limitations. No, pretty much all the limitations we have, they're in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still doing sport? Are
Yeah,
you still playing football or?
yeah. I'm still trying to enjoy my last years playing, because like the mind, there is no limitation, but the body feels the years. So I still play, but just with friends once a week. But I practice sports. I go for running and I go to the gym. So I do many different kind of sports. I'm a very active person, and I like it. Like, it depends on the season. Sometimes swimming, kayaking, tennis, anything that keeps you active and moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the discipline part, and really like the steps you have explained from sport, because I think like you mentioned, from an entrepreneur, and you work with startups and entrepreneurs who are kind of just getting started. Coming from the university, it's basically, at least in my understanding, you have a schedule. This is what you need to learn. This is the context you need to learn, and then you go into the wild world, where it's like, now you're an entrepreneur, you have maybe a good idea, but to get this idea happening, you need to be disciplined, you need to build out your own schedule, and you need to figure things out. And I think that's something which helps people if they come from a sports background or anything where they learned these activities, and going into that. So taking it to the startups in your ecosystem, what are the main challenges, and how do you work with startups?
Yeah, here at Start UB, we have an incubator and accelerator for the projects uh, created or just idealized from the
Hmm.
students and ex-students from the Barcelona University. So what we do here is to support them. But I think the main challenge right now is to make them see the possibility of transforming these ideas into reality,
Hmm.
because there are so many steps, and they see it as a very long process that sometimes it just demotivate them before they started.
Yeah.
So if they're not convinced that what they're doing and their proposal and their business opportunity, they won't last. And another challenge, I think, is pretty much about generations either, because it's a different generation than ours probably.
Yeah.
That the young generation, they do not have a lot of patience
Hmm.
to wait and to see the results, which is necessary when you are building a company, because uh, we really talk about fast results, but it's not like that. So it's a very long term running, like it's more a marathon. It's
Yeah.
not just short term.
Yeah.
So to make them have this visualization, I think is one big challenge. Of course, there are others, financial, the team, to help them to create the right team with different skills and multidisciplinary. That is an important challenge that we are facing here too.
Yeah. So if I understand you right, it's basically their students, they have somehow ideas, and then they can apply to be part of the start UP. startup will be, or how does that work?
Yeah, the students that they have an idea, or they do not have an idea, but
Hmm.
it's we are more focused on the ones that they have an idea. They just contact us. We organize a first interview to see in which stage their idea are,
Hmm.
and then we guide them into one of the different phases that we have here, oriented to see, the growth of the startups, since ideation phase. Then we have the launch phase, validation, and acceleration. So for each one of these phases, we have different kind of programs
Hmm.
where we help them and support them to build and to create what is necessary to make their project grow. So if they're not prepared to have an idea or a basic idea with minimum criteria just to be incubated in here,
Hmm.
and then we just suggest them some activities and some online course that we have for them to get their first contact with the entrepreneurship world, and all the methodologies that they could apply for them to build and create their projects.
Yeah, this is brilliant, because for me, it's like in my past there was nothing like this. So it's basically you hold their hand if they have an idea and they're willing to pursue that idea. You basically help them for free, I guess, because they're part of the university. I mean,
Yeah,
when I was in my education, there was like, yeah, try to figure it out. I mean, this is brilliant opportunity for young people.
yeah, like they have much more resource nowadays. I
Yeah,
think the entire world just has been aware that it's necessary to invest now in innovation and technology and entrepreneurship, and we could saw it after the pandemic. No, as I would say, everyone is a company.
hmm,
So if everyone is a company, everyone is an entrepreneur, and then you could be more or less entrepreneur.
yeah,
So if you know how to take advantage of the resource that we have, and build your own business behind that, so we are making the society grow, and creating more employability.
yeah,
So we are really generating a positive impact.
yeah,
So it's much more to make them feel conscious about the resource and how they could build themselves as a company, that will help everyone to develop, I think.
yeah. And when was it? When was this founded in inside of the Barcelona or attached to the Barcelona University?
The Start UB.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Start UB, it has born before Start UB.
Huh.
It was another name. It was
Okay.
Barcelona Institute of Emprendeduría.
Hmm.
That it was the name before, but then uh, it has been created on 2012, if
Yeah.
I'm right, the Barcelona Institute of Emprendeduría.
Yeah.
But then in 2019, it has been rebranded to Start UB.
So it's basically
So
when you started, it was rebranded. Yeah.
yeah,
Do you,
and it was when we got it the space to have an incubator.
yeah. Interesting. So, do you have already like the first success stories? Because I mean, from 2019 today, it's 3 years. It's in one sense, it's already a lot, but in the other sense, it's not too much yet from a time perspective. Do you have the first successful startups that are running business already?
Oh yeah, we do.
Hmm.
And we are very happy with that. I think I can mention you that the most recently success case that we have in here,
Hmm.
that is the Human IT Care company. It's a health company solution
Hmm.
that they have been awarded as the best startup at the 4 years from now
Yeah.
at the Mobile World Congress event. So they are our top success case that we have right now. Like the founder, Nuria.
Mm.
Today or yesterday, she has been just nominated as the top 5 founders of Spanish companies in Forbes as
That's
the
cool.
most prominent founders in Spain. So
Yeah.
we are very happy to have them in here and to support and to assess them either. So yeah, these and there are other success cases in here, even though it is just a short time that we are offering these services, no, just the support to the students. But yeah, it has been great
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. So when you help them, do you help them straight away with the vision of global markets or focus on the Spanish market?
No. I try to make them have this global vision, like
Yeah.
because we are tech companies, like we try to incentivize like global to have this global mindset. Because if we want to be a tech company, we should be able to sell to any place in the world. So we
Yeah.
have all the resource, and if we want to create scalability business, that's the way it needs to be. So yeah, that's the way we work with them.
No, I think that's important. I'm asking because I talk to other like not too much university driven campaigns like this, but sometimes you have them very local. It's like, yeah, we only do this for our country to support our country economical and so on. But I think it's clever because in the end, if one of them will be a global company in the end, you can tell the story. So that's as well smart marketing for you. But in the end, I agree. Specifically, if they're a tech company, it's very important that they're thinking from the get-go of the global market, and technology can be scaled easily on a global perspective. Yeah, interesting. So are you then having more tech startups, or is it as well others?
No, there are other ones, but yeah, the main focus is to have technology present on
Mm.
their projects. But we have like we have a project here that is a company. They are producing clothes made with hemp.
Yeah.
So they're using hemp to create clothes. So it's not that technological, but of course they sell it online. They have their social networks to achieve clients.
Mm.
But yeah, they're these ones. They started working more locally, even though they have clients in other parts of Europe.
Mm.
But they're limited in terms of continent because of the distribution model that they have.
Yeah.
So for instance, they're based in here. No, but we have other kind of projects. We have fintech projects. We have health. We have more
Mm.
projects in this area, but also marketing agents. We have one agent that they are working with influencers. So there are different kind of
Yeah.
startups in here.
Yeah.
Sports, of course, I'm trying to increase their numbers too in here.
Getting some more football players.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, not necessarily. They must be football players. They could be basketball players or any other kind of sport. There is a company also incubated in here that they are producing sustainable clothes for
Mm.
runners.
Mm.
So they have clothes made with plastic from the oceans. So that is another project. There is one company that they're also uh, promoting free course for outdoor activities and certifications and orientation. So they have an online platform. There is another one that they have created a new methodology for sports activities
Mm.
that they mix um, climbing with CrossFit.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
and
two
they put a
tough choice.
technology to track all their activities. So yeah, we are trying to increase the different kind of projects also.
Yeah, cool. Talking about innovation entrepreneurship from a university perspective, um, and maybe I mean it's like you said, it's completely different to when we grew up. At my time, that wasn't too present. It was more the main old school like topics you're studying, and this has changed completely. How do you embed the entrepreneurship mindset and innovation thinking in the normal curriculum of the university? Are you doing that, or how does that work together with the start up?
Yeah, Start UB, we are trying to create a signature inside every faculty here at
Mm,
the Barcelona University to promote entrepreneurship and innovation.
mm,
So by now, what we are doing is uh, doing a training sessions with the professors for them to be aware that we exist and what we
yeah,
do,
yeah,
for them to be the ones that recommend us. And then that is one first activity that we are doing.
yeah,
There are also other activities that we do. We organize some round tables in different faculties, taking entrepreneurs there for them to share their projects, to share their experience.
mm,
There are also other sessions that I'll go to the different faculties explaining what we do. And another one that I share like entrepreneurship skills and activities for them to be aware and to start changing their mindset
yeah.
to start developing it.
It's quite interesting because the university is basically a big company or a huge organization, which maybe not a lot of people are not aware of. So what you just explained could be the same thing in a big corporation like Fortune 500 company. Like, okay, we need to get the innovation, the entrepreneurship thinking into this organization. How do we do this? We need to talk to them. We need to introduce them. We need to get them into this mindset. So it's basically similar way of thinking. Getting that into this is quite interesting.
Yeah, and imagine that the University of Barcelona, there are 65,000 students,
Yeah, yeah,
and more the people that work at the university, the different professors, so and the people that work also for the university, the administrative services. So we are trying to get notice and make our message arrive to them,
yeah,
for them to be aware that there is a transformation that needs to be done, and in terms of client, students' attention, the way they manage things, and that is part of our mission.
yeah. That's cool. Because in the end, it's your end customer or consumer of the university are the students, and I think they will run the future businesses. Like they're now, I don't know, 24 years old or younger or a little bit older maybe. In the end, it's like they need to understand entrepreneurship, even if they're working later on in a company as a consultant or doing a different job. They need to understand and have an entrepreneurial mindset because at least in my understanding the companies today they need this straight away.
Yeah, and that's what we are trying to make them feel conscious about it. It's like about project management skills, like leadership skills, because that is what I tell them. Imagine that in the future, you
Yeah,
will be the director of a company, you will be in politics, and you will become a reference for many people. So
yeah,
if you do not have these skills, how you're going to be guiding them and driving them to the right path or to the right way? So that's what we try to do in here, and it's more empowering them
yeah,
with also different kind of training. It's more complementary to what they got in their own faculty. So we have the possibility to open up these new training skills,
Mm.
which is very important. And they're the ones that had the relationship with us. They're very happy because, as you were saying, like before, when I was also at the university as a lawyer, no one was teaching us how to create an office for you to be a lawyer.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
you have all the knowledge to be a lawyer and you have your license and it's fine. And then now what I do? And the joke that they usually do it is like, okay, you hire a secretary and then you just wait for the clients to call you. And that it was the, I don't know, the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah,
And nowadays it's not like that. So they have to understand what is the process to create their own brand,
yeah,
and to see that entrepreneurship, it's an option for them to choose instead of just going and looking for a job, because
yeah,
they are able to create their own job. Of course, when you just step out of the university, sometimes you want to have experience in other companies for you to learn how it is the process, getting notice about the dynamic of the workflow on the daily basis. But then once you feel confident, normally it's when the people that are not fitting to the companies, they just create their own company.
yes,
No, but then the learning process was already outside once you were at the market, not while you were at the university,
yeah,
and you know it is how it is.
yeah. What I learned, maybe giving the example from my side, I have worked in very large organizations, and there was like part of what we learned inside of working in the organization was entrepreneurial. But still, when I stepped out of the corporate and building my own business, it's a completely different level of entrepreneurship thinking. Because in a big organization, you have security, safety. That's number one thing. Is like if you if you don't reach out to 20 clients today, it doesn't matter because you get your salary tomorrow. You know that if you don't do stupid things, you are employed the whole year. If you're an entrepreneur and you don't do this and you don't have enough interactions with customers, potential clients, potential buyers, then it's maybe over in half a year or even earlier, depending on how long your runway is. And I have not ever learned that. And of course, not in my formal education because it's way too early, or it was too early that it was incorporated at that time, but also not working in the organization. So I basically started from zero, maybe not fully from zero, but really starting all over again to learn it and doing like understanding, okay, how do you need to pitch? I had the theory, but it's like I haven't done it in that way because I was working the corporate. So people pitch to me, not I to them. That was quite a big learning. I would love to have had a course at that time, which is like, hey, this is the university. They help you in setting it up, like what you do, basically.
Yeah, no, and as you said, there is a huge difference because, of course, the security, stability, but and also the limitations that the inside the
Yeah,
organizations we have to innovate and to be an entrepreneur. Because once you are free and you are just running your own business, the rules you put it yourself, and that is sometimes not easy. But another initiative that we were trying to develop in here, not just with the university in collaboration with other networks that we have here in Barcelona, is as everybody talk about the important function of the university in terms of academic research. So you sometimes you get scholarships to do a master's degree or a
mm,
PhD, and then you get a scholarship. And I remember when I finished my master's degree that I was with my company, my startup, and I spent it like 5 6 years dedicated to that
yeah,
without any scholarship. We said, okay, I did my PhD degree in the reality, and
yeah,
that was like nobody will take that from me. But what we are trying to build in here is like a scholarship for students to be able to try to develop their own projects. Because of course, if you have research the same to do academic research, and you have economical resource, at least for you to try to develop your project and
Yeah.
learn everything that is necessary on the outside world, of course, we will have better professionals, we will have better companies. And that is an idea that we are trying to make it reality,
Hmm.
because the university has been always focused, of course, on research, and the science is important, but like the action is also important as a science too, because sometimes we study what the actions are or the results of the action. So
Yeah.
that is something that we need to promote, to make them feel that is the same when we have the Erasmus program. No, while you are inside the university, you are still young. You do not know what is going to be your future. So an international experience is important for you to build, your character, to learn different cultures, to
Yeah.
see that there are other ways of seeing the world, and then that it just allows you to grow. And then the program for you to be an entrepreneur while you are young, before you just jump into the labor environment,
Yeah.
it's a possibility for you to shine with your own knowledge and your own experience. And then if it doesn't not work, you can apply for work, but you have a previous experience by yourself,
Yeah.
and nobody said nothing to you. And then it was your own risk, your own decision, and your own results. So that would be a very nice thing to have.
Yeah. If I just remember back when I was in corporate, I would have hired the students who have failed with their startups, because and maybe you need to go deeper of why they failed, but if they fail because they're lazy, then it's maybe not the right people to hire. But in the end, is if they have had this experience building their own projects and really doing it in the outside world, they're going to succeed as well in the company, because they have the drive. If you give them enough freedom, if you put them too narrow, then they maybe say after half a year, no, thank you, I will build my own thing again.
Yeah.
So talking about university further, you mentioned in a conversation we have had that you as well have European collaborations. Can you explore a bit about that?
Yeah. We are working in a program with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, where we are leading a program with other three universities: Montpellier University, Lisbon University, and Extremadura University, where we are trying to help the other universities to create their own Start UB, or let's
Yeah.
say, their innovation department,
Hmm.
for them to create and organize, and guide them, which are the activities, what are the methodologies that they can use to teach, and to implement all these transformations that are necessary.
Hmm.
So that is an European program that we are participating. And we are also participating in another program, an European program too, that is called Bridgehead Global, where we help startup companies to internationalize their activities to other parts of the globe outside Europe. So
Cool.
now we are helping Human IT Care to launch in Brazil. So
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I think I like the concept, because I think there's a lot what other universities can learn from, and looking at that. I mean, in the way you explain it, it's not just universities, as well corporations, because if we take the Start UB concept, that can be an innovation department which is attached to a corporation, and it can work in the same way. And of course slightly different, because it's different purpose of the organization, because it's not education. But in the end, it's like, how do you work with the organization, which is the university, and a startup organizing company, or however you want to call that, that's supporting the mind shift and the change of the organization on a long-term perspective, works in the
Okay.
same way.
Yeah. Just before responding your question directly, I would just do a briefly introduction in terms of, as you said, no, the corporations are developing their innovation departments. Like we have here statistics in Spain that only 60% of the companies they have now at the least recognized an innovation department.
Yeah.
So there are still a lot of work to do because not all of them they have these. And innovation departments it's important in all kind of organizations, and I think pretty much they have been aware of it. And to do not skip my football part, when I was working with my company, I was also working in collaboration with the football clubs for the football clubs to implement and to develop their innovation departments.
Yeah.
Because they were not organized for it. So like the same as the corporations, but like we see these kind of institutions, and also we are seeing public institutions, working on the development of innovation and technology. So the way now responding objectively to your question, we have collaboration with the corporations, which is very important for us because before the only way to collaborate with the organization was just to preparing students, have them graduated and send them to become interns of the companies.
Yeah.
And then if they grow, they will be hired, and then they will have a career inside the organizations. But what we do, we have innovation programs where we develop with the corporations. And then what they do, they put some challenge that they have to solve problems inside the organization. And then they bring these challenges for us to offer to our students to see which kind of new ideas they could make it shine. And then it became as one program that is called iDay, Innovation Day, where we collaborate with 3 or 4 organizations for each one of these events. And then they work in a group. They prepare their solution for the problem, and then they do a pitch at the end, a competition. And we have this program in a local level, as I say, like as University Barcelona.
Yeah.
But then the winner of the Barcelona University will be competing with the other 32 winners of the other 32 universities that are doing the same program at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the finalists go to one place, and they will be presenting their projects there to see who will be the winner, and they have economical prize and so on. So it's a very good opportunity for them also to jump into the entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem.
Yeah. That's very cool. I mean, this is really, for me, this is the future. Preparing and enabling students already early on and let them be aware of different training opportunities on the go, and then really learning how they can be of value to corporations, but as well creating their own value. Really love that. Getting to the next part of the podcast, which is a couple of questions that are little unrelated to our conversations right now, which I'm asking every guest.
Okay.
So if you could work with a project that's impacting every human being on Earth, what project would you work with, and why would you work with that project? It's a very easy question, I know.
Yeah. Let me think. I think from my background and from my experience, because I think sports and health, they are the same. So like they're very related. I would work with health because I think it's where it impacts more with the people's life. And with all the knowledge and technology that we have nowadays, so we can improve people's life and make them feel better and longer. So I would drive a project if I could on that direction, because for me, I think once we have one born human, we have to support them and then make them feel great as to be here with us and being able to grow and develop themselves. So I would work with health, I would say.
Yeah. If you look into the future, maybe taking Start UB or your personal perspective, what do you think are the biggest changing we will face over the next years?
Well, I think one of the feelings that I have got it now after this hard period that we have been through, the pandemic. I think people just became a little bit more upset than usual because we have been taking many of our freedom and liberty just to do whatever we wanted whenever we wanted, and it made people lose empathy. So I would say that it would be great to have it. I'm not sure if it will happen or not, but I wish people could be a little bit more empathic and just more sympathetic with people. But one of the transformations that I would see it is probably, and I would like to, is a reduction of the work. Like I think we got in a level of our society where there are so many things developed that I think we do not need to rush and work as much as they are imposing us to do it, because sometimes we are just creating something that is not productive for people's life. So it's better to work maybe 4 days a week and take 3 of rest, and then you will be able to have a better life, healthier, and whatever we are going to be creating, that it could be a little bit more democratic for everyone to have access to that, to have a better life.
Yeah, cool. How do you keep yourself up to date on topics that interest you?
Reading a lot, seeing videos, listening to podcasts either, and talking to people that are related from the world that I'm interested in.
Yeah, cool. How can people connect to you, and how can people reach out to you?
Oh, that's very easy. They can just send me an email at my address. I'm not sure if I can
put
share
it into I can put it into the show notes if you want.
Okay, yeah, it's mprovinciali at ub.edu.
Yeah. And that's basically the email address from the Start UB, where people can connect
from
to
the
you.
university. Yeah, mine, or of course on LinkedIn. They can find me either. That is one of the networks that I use it most. Of course, on a professional level.
Yes.
not
talking football.
No, we talk a lot about football there too, but on a professional level.
Yeah.
Working with solution and organizations, but not like as Facebook or Instagram, that you just, okay, do you want to be my friend? Sorry, I haven't made any business with you, so.
No, I agree. That's important. So it's a professional network. It's not. I mean, it's not Facebook or something where it's like friendship, private stuff.
Yeah, it's not that social network. It's more professional.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn is one of that I care most, because I think there are relevant people, relevant content. So yeah, I don't want to drive to that side. I try to separate it.
Yeah, cool. Matheus, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
No, thank you, Jens. It was a pleasure for me either, being here, just sharing a little bit what we are doing and what I have been doing either. but it's more, as I said, preparing what we are going to do in the future, because we always have to be thinking ahead. The past is just a learning part of the process, but it is there. We have to, feel proud of our decisions. But thank you for just giving me the time and sharing with you and your audience all these, stories that I have been sharing. Of course, would be many others that would be maybe better to be sharing with a beer. But
we can do that. That's no problem.
but it would be better present on the same place.
Yeah,
Not just
exactly.
virtually too.
We will
But
do that.
yeah, great. No,
Super.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to today's episode. You will find the links and resources in the show notes of this episode. If you would like to support the podcast, the most impactful thing you can do is subscribing to the show on any of the podcasting platforms and give me a review. This will help me to reach more innovators around the world and bring some of you into the show. If you have any question to the guest or want to engage with me, feel free to reach out to me on social media and contact me there.